Hello there, and welcome back to a slower corner of the world. Tonight, we are not in a hurry. There is nowhere to get to. Nothing to solve. Nothing you need to hold tightly in your mind. Only the soft unfolding of the natural world. One quiet wonder at a time, beyond our walls and roads and schedules. The earth is always busy in its own patient way. Forests whisper to themselves beneath the soil. Ice moves like a sleeping animal. Deserts remember rain for years. Rivers vanish and return. Seeds wait in silence for centuries. Tiny creatures glow in the dark. Sing in the sand. Survive in boiling water. Sleep while flying. And cross oceans with senses we do not fully understand. And what makes these things so gentle to think about at night is that nature is never in a rush to explain itself. It simply goes on, growing, changing, persisting, glowing, dissolving, returning. So as you settle in, maybe under blankets, maybe with the room dim and quiet, let your breathing loosen a little. You do not need to memorize anything. You do not need to follow every detail. You can simply drift with the images and let them pass through the mind like moonlight across water. We begin in the soil because so many secrets begin there, beneath the surface of the ground, under grass and fallen leaves and the dust of old seasons. There is a hidden crowd so vast that it almost slips beyond imagination. In a single teaspoon of healthy soil, there can be more living organisms than there are people on Earth. Billions of bacteria, delicate threads of fungi, protozoa drifting through films of water, meat, nematodes, springtails, tiny lives feeding on older tiny lives. All of them, part of a dark and crowded city below our feet. It is easy to think of soil as stillness, as dirt, as the quiet brown layer beneath the important things, but soil is one of the important things. Without it, forests would thin, grasslands would fade, crops would fail, fallen leaves would not return to the cycle. The dead would not feed the living. Nutrients would remain locked away. Roots would press into silence and find almost nothing waiting for them. Instead, beneath us, there is industry without noise. Fungi stretch in pale threads from root to root. Bacteria dissolve minerals. Invisible mouths chew through old wood. Moisture gathers in tiny cavities. Chemical messages move through the darkness. A root may release compounds that summon helpful microbes. A fungus may carry phosphorus toward a thirsty plant. A wounded tree may alter the chemistry around it. And the underground world responds. A forest floor may look restful from above, but below, it is as intricate as a city, and older than cities, and more generous. And this hidden generosity is one of nature's great themes. So much of life is supported by what is never seen. That is true in the soil. And it is true in the forest itself. There are forests where trees do not live as isolated pillars, but as neighbors tied together by living networks underground. Fungal threads called mycelium lace through the earth and make contact with roots. Through these connections, nutrients can pass from one plant to another. Signals can move. Warnings can spread. A tree under attack by insects may begin changing the chemistry of its leaves. And nearby trees may prepare themselves before the insects arrive. In deep shade, a young sapling may receive carbon from larger trees nearby. An old tree with broad roots and centuries of stability may quietly support younger growth around it. Not from kindness, Exactly. But from the deep woven logic of ecosystems, where survival is often shared rather than solitary, it changes the way a forest feels. When you imagine it like that, not as a gathering of individual trunks, but as a conversation, not silent at all, only speaking in a language of sugar, minerals, pulses of chemistry, exchanges so slow and soft that human attention rarely notices them. And when you walk through trees, when the air cools and the smell of leaf litter rises, you are moving above an invisible network that may have been active for decades, perhaps centuries, carrying messages in darkness, holding the memory of drought, disease, abundance, and light. Even the air in forests can feel like a kind of medicine. Part of that feeling is emotional. Of course, the lowering of noise, the soft pattern of leaves, the way a canopy turns sunlight into something filtered and kind. But part of it is chemical too. Trees release compounds into the air. Phytoncides, subtle molecules that help protect them from pests and disease. When we breathe these forest chemicals, something in us responds. Stress can ease, heart rate can slow, the body can soften its grip a little. Perhaps this is one reason forests have always felt older than explanation. They do not simply stand around us. They alter us. And the deeper you go into the living world, the more often you find that apparent stillness conceals activity. Plants, for example, seem patient almost to the point of invisibility. They bend over days, unfurl over weeks, root over seasons, but some move with astonishing speed. Carnivorous plants, living in poor soils where nitrogen is scarce, have evolved ways of taking that nourishment from animal bodies instead. The Venus flytrap waits with a strange composure. Inside its green jaw-like leaves are delicate trigger hairs. If a wandering insect brushes one hair, nothing happens. That could be wind, or rain, or accident. But if another touch comes quickly after the first, the trap closes in a fraction of a second. Not wildly, not angrily, but with precise botanical certainty. Elsewhere, sundews hold droplets that gleam like dew, but cling like glue. An insect lands, and the leaf slowly curls inward. Pitcher plants form deep vessels slick with death and rainwater, where creatures slide down toward digestive pools. Underwater, the bladderwort waits in still ponds with tiny traps that fire so fast they almost escape measurement. It is difficult not to call this strange, a plant that tastes touch, a leaf that decides between accident and prey, a rooted thing that hunts. And yet, from the plant's perspective, this is simply adaptation, the quiet refusal to starve. All across the planet, life finds a way to use whatever is available. Some plants store sunlight in wood, some store water in swollen trunks, and some in poor wetlands and bogs. Learn how to eat in harsher landscapes. Other strategies appear. Imagine the baobab, thick-trunked and monumental against a dry African sky. It can hold enormous stores of water in its tissues, enough to endure long periods of drought, and enough to sustain entire communities of insects, birds, and mammals. When the land has gone brittle and pale, succulents do the same in smaller forms, tucking water into leaves or stems behind waxy skins that resist evaporation. These plants are reservoirs disguised as living bodies. They do not merely survive dry places. They reshape what survival means there. And in some deserts, even apparent emptiness is only waiting. A desert can look like permanence, bare ground, long light, silence stretched to the horizon, but below that apparent stillness may lie countless seeds. Each one sealed into patience. A rare rain arrives. Perhaps after years, perhaps after longer, water sinks into dust. Temperature shifts, light changes, and something sleeping begins to wake. Then, almost impossibly, the desert blooms, within days, sometimes seemingly overnight. The hard landscape softens into color: purple, gold, white, crimson. Low flowers open by the thousands. Then by the millions, pollinators arrive. The air changes. Even the smell of the place changes. From stone and heat to something green and temporary and alive. A super bloom in the desert feels almost like a secret the land was saving. All that abundance, hidden inside dryness, waiting for one exact moment. And because the moment is brief, it becomes more beautiful. Flowers open. Insects find them. Seeds are made. And then the sun returns in its harsher mood. Petals fade. Stems dry. The ground falls quiet again. But the silence after bloom is not emptiness. It is storage. It is memory. It is the next beginning folded small. Nature does this often. It hides futures inside stillness. A seed in sand. A bud in winter wood. A frog in ice. Yes. Even freezing can become a kind of waiting. In the far north, winters arrive, not as inconvenience, but as total occupation. Water locks into hardness. Ground seals. Food vanishes. Light thins into short gray arcs of day. Yet some animals do not flee these seasons. They become part of them. The wood frog of Alaska can allow much of its body water to freeze. Its heart stops. Blood ceases to move. Breath disappears. For all appearances, it is gone. And yet special compounds inside its body protect its cells from rupturing. Sugars and other chemicals concentrate where they are needed. The frog enters a state that seems impossible, suspended between life and non-life, while winter holds the world still around it. Then spring comes. Ice softens. Water moves again. The frog thaws. The heart begins. The body resumes its ancient rhythm. And this small creature, which spent the cold months as a rigid piece of the frozen landscape, simply returns. It is one of the gentlest miracles in nature. Not dramatic, not loud, just the quiet continuation of a life that knew how to wait. Many creatures live by waiting. Tardigrades, those microscopic water bears so often described with a kind of playful disbelief, can endure freezing, boiling, radiation, desiccation, even the vacuum of space, by entering a nearly suspended state called cryptobiosis. They dry into tiny, durable forms. Metabolism almost gone. Life reduced to possibility. Then, moisture returns. And so do they. Some cave animals survive long periods without food. Some seeds wait centuries. Some trees wait decades to flower once. Waiting, in nature, is not always passive. Sometimes it is the most active form of survival. And trees, perhaps more than almost any living thing, teach the meaning of long survival. There are bristlecone pines growing in the mountains of the American West that are older than empires, older than written histories in many places, older than monuments we call ancient. More than 4,000 years can be written in their wood, year by year, ring by ring, drought by drought, storm by storm. They do not look soft or lush. Old bristlecones are often twisted, weathered, half dead to the eye. Wind has sculpted them. Cold has pared them down. One side may be stripped to polished grain while another still carries living bark and needles. They survive not by remaining whole, but by yielding strategically. One branch dies, so another can continue. One strip of cambium persists and feeds what remains. Their beauty is not youthful. It is the beauty of endurance. To stand beside such a tree is to feel time differently. Human urgency begins to look very recent. All the things we treat as lasting, governments, buildings, roads, vanish quickly beside a being that was already rooted. When the Bronze Age was still young, the tree does not know any of this. Of course, it has no need for our timelines. It only knows cold, light, scarcity, spring, and another year, and another, and yet its mere existence alters our sense of the world. It reminds us that slowness can be a strength, that age can be held in silence, that survival is often less like a battle, and more like an agreement with hardship. Not all trees stay where they begin. At least, not in the simple way we imagine. In parts of Central and South America, there is a palm, sometimes called the walking palm. The name makes it sound fantastical. As if the tree might stride off one dawn, with root feet lifting through the leaves. The reality is slower and gentler than that. It grows stilt-like roots. And over time, in response to changes in light, it can establish new roots in one direction, while older ones recede. The trunk may shift gradually, inching toward better conditions across months and years. It is not walking in the way an animal walks, but it is not entirely fixed either, and that small ambiguity feels very natural. So many categories blur when we look closely enough. Plants move, fungi hunt, animals farm, mountains rise, ice flows, rocks sing, even stones, in certain places, seem to walk. On the racetrack playa in Death Valley, large rocks leave long tracks across the dry lake bed, as if they moved by intention. In the night, for decades, the phenomenon appeared almost supernatural. No one had seen the motion happen, yet the traces were unmistakable. Lines scratched across the surface by heavy stones, changing position over time. The explanation, when it came, did not diminish the wonder. Thin ice forms beneath rare winter conditions. Morning light breaks the ice into panels. A slight wind arrives. The rock, lodged in the sheet, is nudged over wet clay so smoothly and slowly that the movement can happen in quiet, without spectacle. No magic in the theatrical sense, only temperature, water, timing, and wind, assembling into something that looks like a mystery. Nature often works this way. The explanation is real. The wonder remains. Rivers do this too. Shape and vanish, and reappear in ways that feel dreamlike. Some rivers run beneath the sea, not freshwater rivers, but dense currents of very salty water or sediment-laden flow, moving along the ocean floor beneath less dense water above. In the Black Sea, one such current behaves like a submerged river, complete with banks and channels. Elsewhere, near Greenland and Iceland, cold, dense water pours through the Denmark Strait like an underwater waterfall of immense scale, dropping far deeper than any waterfall on land. To imagine a waterfall hidden inside the ocean, a river flowing inside another body of water, is to feel how incomplete our usual picture of the planet is. The world below the surface has its own weather, geography, traffic, and gravity-shaped dramas. And sometimes, Water disappears from the surface entirely. In karst landscapes, where limestone slowly dissolves through ages, rivers can vanish into cracks and sinkholes, travel through caves in darkness, and emerge miles away as springs. The water remains the same water, but its journey passes through hidden chambers, mineral halls, places where fish lose their eyes and stone grows in pale dripping shapes from ceilings. The earth carries a second architecture underground, one made by patience and water. Caves are among the most convincing reminders that darkness does not mean emptiness. Some caves hold crystals so large they seem fabricated by fantasy. In northern Mexico, the Cave of the Crystals contains enormous selenite beams, some as long as trees, grown over immense spans of time in mineral-rich water under stable, hot conditions. To stand among them would be like entering the interior of some sleeping mineral cathedral. The air there is dangerous with heat and humidity, but the image remains haunting. A chamber where geology became sculpture. Other caves breathe. Changes in air pressure and temperature can cause vast cave systems to inhale and exhale through their openings. Stand near the mouth of such a cave, and you may feel the earth itself seeming to breathe cool air over your skin. It is only pressure equalizing, only atmosphere moving through stone. And yet the sensation is difficult not to personify. The planet, for a moment, feels animate in a familiar way. Perhaps that is because life and landscape borrow so much from each other in our language. Rivers have mouths. Mountains have shoulders. Caves breathe. Forests bathe us in chemistry. The earth becomes easier to love when it feels less like backdrop and more like companion. This companionship extends far out into the oceans. At night, in rare calm bays, the water can glow. Bioluminescent dinoflagellates, microscopic plankton, flash when disturbed. A fish moves through the dark bay and leaves a line of blue fire behind it. A hand drifts through the water and emerges dripping stars. A paddle stroke ignites liquid light. The effect is so delicate that it feels less like brightness and more like memory, as though the sea briefly remembers every touch. Bioluminescence appears elsewhere too, in mushrooms glowing green on forest floors, in deep-sea fish carrying lights beneath their eyes or along their bellies, in jellyfish, squid, shrimp, worms, comieles. Countless marine bodies writing signals in darkness. In the deep ocean, where sunlight never reaches, light becomes language. A blink may lure prey. A pattern may summon a mate. A glow on the underside may erase a shadow and hide the animal from predators below. Some flashlight fish can cover and uncover their luminous organs as if blinking. Lanternfish move through black water, carrying ordered rows of cold stars on their bodies. The deep sea is often imagined as empty and crushing. And it is crushing, and fast, and cold, but it is also strangely ornate. Beauty survives even there. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, in pressures almost impossible for us to imagine, life persists. Tiny crustaceans, snailfish, microbes living in mud and on marine snow drifting down from the brighter world above. The deepest known point in the ocean is deeper than Mount Everest, is tall, and even there, life did not surrender the space. Hydrothermal vents go further still, into the impossible. On the seafloor, where tectonic activity opens pathways for heated water, mineral-rich fluid gushes out in darkness. Temperatures can exceed what most life should endure. Yet around these vents flourish communities supported not by sunlight but by chemistry. Microbes use the vent compounds as an energy source. Giant tube worms, Clams, shrimp, and crabs cluster there in densities once thought unthinkable for such depths. It is life built without the sun. Food webs, anchored to heat and stone, and dissolved chemicals. If life can do that here on Earth, the imagination stretches naturally toward other worlds. But even without leaving this planet, there is enough strangeness to last a lifetime. Take coral reefs, which can look like undersea rock formations from a distance. Yet reefs are built by tiny animals. Coral polyps, minute soft-bodied creatures, secrete limestone skeletons, generation after generation. These skeletons accumulate and shape immense structures that become homes to multitudes. What appears solid and permanent is really the work of countless small, soft lives layering themselves into architecture. This too is a pattern. The great built from the tiny, the visible supported by the nearly invisible. Kelp forests follow the same quiet principle in another form. Giant kelp can grow with astonishing speed, rising through cold coastal waters to create submerged canopies where sea otters drift. Fish shelter, and light turns green and wavering. To move through a kelp forest is to feel both underwater and woodland at once. Fronds lift and settle. Shadows stripe the seafloor. The whole place sways rather than stands. Forests above, forests below. Clouds above, clouds made by forests. Yes, entire forests can help make their own weather. The Amazon exhales enormous quantities of water vapor through transpiration. Moisture rises from leaves, condenses, forms clouds, and falls again as rain. The forest helps feed itself by breathing water into the sky, and that moisture does not remain local. It influences climate far beyond its borders. Carried in atmospheric rivers across continents. To look at a rainforest from above is to see green density. To understand what it does is to see a living engine of air and water, and so much of what nature does, it does without audience. Lightning flashes millions of times each day across Earth. More than 90 strikes each second on average. Somewhere right now, a cloud is charging. A path of ionized air is reaching down. The sky is deciding where to break. The air around the bolt will become hotter than the surface of the sun for an instant. Thunder will follow as the heated air expands explosively. Plants will receive nitrogen compounds shaped partly by this violence. And then the storm will go on, far away, perhaps over a tropical horizon. Someone may see only silent flickers in a distant cloud line, a sky murmuring in light. Storms exist beyond Earth too. On Jupiter, the Great Red Spot has raged for centuries, perhaps far longer. Larger than our entire planet. A storm without ocean shore or mountain barrier to interrupt it. Winds folding around a wound of color in a gas giant's atmosphere. Thinking of it at bedtime can be oddly calming, not because it is small or gentle, but because it is so far beyond us. Weather on a planetary scale, restless, ancien, still turning, back here on Earth. There are stranger weather stories close to the ground. In Honduras, fish have reportedly fallen from the sky during violent storms. Elsewhere, frogs and other small animals have appeared after weather events, likely lifted by waterspouts or powerful winds and carried far before being dropped. Whether one sees these moments as miracle or meteorology, the image remains surreal. Rain ending, and the ground alive with silver bodies, where a field should simply be wet. Rainbows also change with perspective. From the ground, they are arcs, cut by the horizon, but from an airplane, or from a mountain at the right moment, a rainbow can appear as a full circle, a complete ring of refracted light around shadow and mist. The shape was always whole. We simply do not usually stand where we can see it. Perspective. again, is one of nature's quiet teachers. Clouds themselves carry hidden heaviness. A thundercloud can contain millions of tons of water, suspended in countless droplets and ice crystals. Held aloft by rising air, something can be light enough to float and heavy enough to outweigh mountains. Both are true, and high above normal weather. After sunset in summer at high latitudes, noctilucent clouds may glow with a silver-blue softness. These delicate ice clouds in the upper atmosphere catch sunlight long after the lower sky has darkened. They look almost impossible, as if night itself had begun to remember daylight. Then, there are places where water behaves in impossible-looking ways. There is a river in the Peruvian Amazon, heated by geothermal forces until parts of it nearly boil. Steam rises through jungle air. Leaves curl near the banks. The water moves through forest like a long exhalation from the Earth's interior. There are lakes, so clear the eye can travel astonishing distances into them. Water filtered through stone until it seems closer to air than to ordinary lake water. There are hypersaline lakes, so dense a human body floats with ease, held up by mineral saturation. The Dead Sea is one example, where sinking is replaced by a strange, effortless buoyancy. Swimming. There is not quite swimming. It is more like being refused by the water, gently held above it. Elsewhere, lakes change color with the seasons. Algae bloom. Mineral concentrations shift. Sunlight scatters differently. Blue becomes green. Green becomes pink. Whole landscapes alter their palette without any hand painting them. And sometimes, lakes refuse winter altogether. Warm springs below. Great depth. Geothermal influence. Some combination of these can keep water open, while the surrounding land freezes into silence. For birds and mammals in cold regions, such open water becomes refuge. A liquid eye in a frozen face. The frozen world has its own beauty too. Glaciers seem immobile from a human timescale. But they move. Slowly. Always slowly. Pulled by gravity downslope. Deforming internally. Sliding, where meltwater lubricates their base. They grind rock into flour. Carve valleys. Shape lakes. Rearrange entire landscapes through persistence rather than speed. To witness their movement directly requires patience beyond ordinary life. Or time-lapse photography. Or trust in measurements. But perhaps that is fitting. Glaciers are monuments to slowness that still manage to travel. And under Antarctic ice, hidden from sunlight, rivers and lakes remain liquid beneath the immense pressure and geothermal warmth. Water still flows in one of the coldest regions on Earth, tracing secret routes beneath miles of ice. Microbial life may persist there in isolation across immense spans of time. Once again, darkness does not mean emptiness. Deserts also rewrite expectations. A desert is defined by dryness, not by heat. The largest deserts on Earth are Antarctica and the Arctic. Places of ice, wind, and sparse precipitation. Their emptiness is white rather than gold. Their stillness is glacial rather than sunstruck. And not all hot deserts are sandy in the usual way. White sands in New Mexico is made of gypsum, bright as snow beneath a hot sky. The dunes glow pale blue under moonlight and blinding white under noon sun. Walking there must feel like crossing winter made warm. Some deserts sing. Booming dunes and resonant sands can produce deep humming notes. When conditions are right and grains slide against one another in large coordinated sheets, the sound is low, eerie, almost vocal, as if the land itself has decided to hum in its sleep. Other stones seem to grow. In Romania, Trovant formations gradually enlarge as mineral-rich water deposits material through their porous bodies. Growth is slow beyond ordinary notice. But over years and decades, their shape can swell and bulge. It unsettles our assumptions. We like rocks to be finished. But in nature, even stone can remain in process. Some mountains are still growing too. The Himalayas continue to rise as tectonic plates collide, though erosion works at them constantly from the other side. Mountains are not fixed accomplishments. They are negotiations between uplift and weathering, force and wearing away, birth and diminishment occurring together. Elsewhere, entire mountains can be made of salt, remnants of vanished seas pressed upward over geologic time. Imagine climbing what was once ocean. Imagine touching crystallized ancient water in the shape of a ridge. Nature stores time in forms we rarely notice. In zircons, tiny mineral crystals over 4 billion years old, older than the continents in their modern forms. In ancient seeds revived after centuries. In pollen buried under desert sands that reveal a greener past, the Sahara. Now, one of the most iconic deserts on Earth, was once a region of lakes, rivers, grasslands, and large animals. Climate shifted. Rain patterns moved. The land dried. Beneath the sand remain traces of its wetter self. The desert is not merely what it is now. It is also the memory of what it was. Perhaps this is why landscapes can feel emotional, as if they carry moods. They carry histories too. The same is true of animals, in their own moving ways. Some fish walk on land. Mudskippers use their fins to pull themselves across tidal flats, breathing through skin and moist tissues when conditions allow. Other fish can survive out of water for surprising periods and move between ponds. Watching them can feel like seeing a reenactment of some ancient threshold. Life testing the edge between water and air. Some fish climb waterfalls. Salmon launch themselves against gravity and current, returning upstream to the places of their birth. Hawaiian gobies inch upward with sucker-like fins along wet rock. The effort is astonishing, especially when imagined from the fish's small body against such force. But migration often requires impossible-seeming persistence. And migration, in general, may be one of nature's most beautiful forms of memory. Birds cross continents with routes written partly in stars, partly in magnetic fields, partly in sunlight, partly, perhaps, in inherited maps we only dimly understand. Indigo buntings orient themselves by constellations around the North Star. Sea turtles sense the planet's magnetic field and return to natal beaches after journeys spanning oceans and years. Dragonflies cross the Indian Ocean over generations. Monarch butterflies travel to mountain forests they have never seen before. Humpback whales sing songs that can move across enormous underwater distances, their melodies changing culturally through populations like drifting traditions. To navigate by forces we cannot directly perceive, that is a kind of poetry nature practices constantly. Magnetoreception may guide birds, turtles, some fish, perhaps even mammals. Earth itself becomes not just a place to live on, but a map to read and sleep. 2. Takes unusual forms in the natural world. Common swifts may remain airborne for months. Frigate birds can sleep with one half of the brain at a time while gliding on air currents. The sky becomes both road and resting place. They eat there, travel there, sometimes mate there. They belong to altitude in a way humans never will. Some animals never stop growing if resources allow. Fish, reptiles, amphibians. Their age and size often tied more loosely than our own. The oldest can become giants simply by continuing. Some change sex in response to social need. In clownfish groups, if the dominant female dies, the largest male becomes female. Other fish, do the reverse. Biology, in these cases, is less fixed category than adaptive strategy. Some clone themselves, some regenerate limbs, salamanders regrow legs, tail, even parts of heart and spinal cord. Starfish can replace arms, and in certain cases grow whole bodies from fragments. Life here refuses finality. Damage becomes detour rather than ending. Some jellyfish can reset their life cycle and return to an earlier stage. A tiny soft-bodied loophole in aging, not immortality in any simple mythic sense, but a rewriting of sequence that feels extraordinary, all the same. Some animals survive without oxygen far longer than we expect. Painted turtles can overwinter in cold, oxygen-poor water by slowing dramatically and shifting their chemistry. Tiny parasites exist that lack the usual oxygen processing machinery entirely. Life's solutions continue to widen the border of what we call possible, and then there are creatures living entirely in darkness. Blind cavefish detect vibrations where eyes would offer nothing. Deep-sea species rely on pressure, faint light, scent, electrical cues, heat. In some caves and trenches, eyes disappear because they are too expensive to maintain when they offer no benefit. Sensory worlds reorganize around absence, and what would feel to us like deprivation becomes to them a complete and adequate existence. Perhaps every creature lives in a world shaped by what it can sense. Butterflies may see ultraviolet patterns on flowers and wings that are wholly hidden from us. Bees read nectar guides invisible to the human eye. Some snakes detect infrared warmth. Owls and cats amplify tiny amounts of light into usable vision. Birds may perceive magnetic fields. Fish feel pressure waves. Dogs may orient by sense layered across time. Our version of the world is only one version. That thought can be strangely peaceful. We do not need to understand every layer for it to be real. And some layers are almost theatrical in their beauty. Glass frogs can become so transparent that their organs are visible. While resting, they redistribute blood to reduce visibility and blend better against leaves. Looking at one is like looking at a creature halfway between body and water. The corpse flower blooms rarely and smells of rot. Not because nature enjoys grotesque jokes, but because carrion flies and beetles are useful pollinators. The plant deceives by scent. It may also warm itself, helping spread that odor farther. Some mushrooms glow. Some bays glow. Some deep-sea fish blink cold lanterns. Some volcanic lightning appears blue against ash-dark clouds. Heat, decay, darkness, and beauty all weave together without embarrassment. There are flowers that bloom only once in decades. Agaves gather energy for years before sending up towering stalks of bloom, and then dying after the effort. A life condensed toward one luminous event. Briefness does not reduce significance. Sometimes it deepens it. There are also flowers that change color as they age or after pollination, signaling to pollinators where nectar remains worth the visit. A bloom can become a message board. Plants, though rooted, are not passive decoration. They count daylight through photoperiodism. They remember drought through chemical and genetic regulation. They detect insect saliva and change their defenses. Some release warning scents to neighboring plants. Some produce heat. Some eat animals. Some live wholly underwater. Flexible and green, in wavering meadows beneath the surface. The line between plant intelligence and plant responsiveness becomes less certain the more we learn, and fungi blur lines further still. In tropical forests, fungi of the Ophiocordyceps group infect insects and alter behavior in ways so precise they feel invented. An ant leaves the colony, climbs vegetation. Bits in place. And the fungus grows from its body to release spores from an elevated perch. It is unsettling. Not because it is cruel in any conscious sense, but because it reveals how life can inhabit and steer other life with biochemical elegance. Meanwhile, leafcutter ants farm fungi underground with astonishing sophistication. They harvest leaves not to eat directly but to feed cultivated fungal gardens. Workers cut, carry, clean, tend, defend. The fungus and the ants depend on each other so closely that one cannot thrive without the other. Agriculture existed in the insect world, millions of years before human hands turned soil. Tool use belongs to animals too. Chimpanzees fish for termites with modified twigs. Sea otters crack shellfish on stones, balanced against their chests. Crows use traffic to open nuts. Dolphins carry marine sponges on their snouts while foraging. Intelligence here is not an abstract ranking, but the practical art of solving problems inside a body and environment. Even self-awareness peeks through in certain species. Great apes, dolphins, elephants, magpies. Some can use mirrors to inspect themselves, to notice a mark and understand that the reflection corresponds to their own body. The boundary we draw between human mind and animal mind becomes less wall-like and more like a misted glass. Still there, perhaps, but not so sharply. Birds complicate things beautifully. Lyrebirds imitate chainsaws, camera shutters. Other birds, humanoids. Weaver birds build hanging nests with structural elegance. Bowerbirds arrange collections of color and symmetry to attract mates. Shells, petals, bits of blue. Whatever the landscape provides, architecture, performance, and aesthetics are not ours alone. Whales sing too, and their songs can travel through the ocean for vast distances. Long patterns of low calls shifting through populations over time. Some scientists compare this to cultural transmission. Themes, spreading and changing. It is difficult to hear such songs and not feel humility. So much communication has always been happening beyond our languages. And then there are places where life itself seems to approach the supernatural. Though always through real mechanisms, animals that survive years without food by slowing their bodies almost to stillness. Spiders that balloon on silk and travel astonishing distances. Even far out over ocean. Mosses that survive space exposure and revive. Microbes that thrive in near-boiling springs. Seeds that sprout after 2,000 years. Ancient aspen groves like Pando that are not many trees, but one connected organism, spreading through roots. A forest as a single being, wearing many trunks. Floating islands carrying shrubs and trees across lakes. Stones that move. Dunes that sing. Waterfalls blown upward by fierce wind until gravity seems briefly negotiable. Glowing waves. Breathing caves. Walking palms. Transparent frogs. Immortal-seeming jellyfish. Every one of these things reminds us that reality is stranger, gentler, and more imaginative than any hurried glance can reveal. Perhaps that is the deepest comfort in nature. It does not become less mysterious. When studied, it becomes more richly mysterious. Knowledge does not flatten wonder. It gives wonder texture. A rogue wave, for instance, is more astonishing when understood as the temporary alignment of many smaller waves into one towering wall. The explanation is mathematical and fluid and real. But the sight of such a wave rising from an otherwise ordinary sea remains deeply unsettling and magnificent. The ocean has ways of gathering ordinary energy into extraordinary moments. The same is true in ecosystems. Tiny coral polyps build reefs. Microscopic plankton light bays. Invisible fungi connect forests. Bacteria in soil support continents of green life. A teaspoon becomes a world. A drop becomes a sky. A seed becomes a flowering desert. A thread of silk becomes an ocean crossing. And because we are human, we look at these things and translate them into feeling. A bristlecone pine may become an image of endurance. A glowing bay may feel like memory made visible. A glacier's movement may soothe because it is so slow and certain. A river beneath Antarctic ice may suggest that hidden life continues even under great pressure. A forest making its own rain may feel like self-sustaining grace. A frog thawing in spring may feel like hope. These emotional meanings are not the scientific facts themselves, but they are part of our relationship with the facts. We are creatures of meaning as well as observation, and when we lie awake at night or begin to drift towards sleep, meanings loosen from strict language and become more like atmosphere. So perhaps now, as the mind grows quieter, the wonders of nature do not need to stay separate. The glowing bay can meet the ancient tree. The desert bloom can open beside the underwater river. The singing sand can hum under the whale song. The forest can breathe clouds into the night sky where noctilucent veils shine above it. The cave of crystals can wait beneath the mountain that is still rising. The mudskipper can pause at the edge of a moonlit marsh while the wood frog sleeps in ice and the swift turns one wing through high, dark air. All of it belongs to one planet, one restless, patient, inventive planet. And still, there are places human beings have never touched. Remote peaks, hidden caves, deep trenches, fragments of rainforest and seafloor and ice. Even now, in a mapped and measured age, Earth keeps some rooms to itself, not from cruelty, not from secrecy in any deliberate sense, simply because it is large and layered and not arranged for our convenience. There is comfort in that too. The world is not finished just because we have looked at parts of it. Mystery remains. And mystery, when held gently, can be restful. You do not have to solve the whole world before sleep. You do not have to understand every root, current, vein, mineral, song, or magnetic path. It is enough to know that while you rest, life continues in its own soft determination. Somewhere, rain is beginning over leaves. Somewhere, a whale song is traveling through black water. Somewhere, lightning is flickering behind clouds. Somewhere, a seed lies quiet in dry ground, holding spring inside itself. Somewhere, a glacier moves by the width of a hand. Somewhere, a cave exhales cool air into night. Somewhere, a moth is seeing patterns in a flower that human eyes cannot detect. Somewhere, a tree is sharing sugars through fungal thread. Somewhere, bioluminescent plankton are writing light around the body of a fish. Somewhere, a bird is crossing darkness, guided by stars. Somewhere, under snow, a frog waits in stillness. Somewhere, in deep sediment, ancient water moves. Somewhere, a flower is preparing for the single bloom of its long life. Somewhere, in a teaspoon of soil, more lives are turning and feeding and transforming than the mind can comfortably count. And all of them, in their own way, belong to the same great rhythm. Not fast, not loud, only continuous. A patient making and unmaking, growth and rest, bloom and seed, freeze and thaw, current and shore, darkness and light. So if your thoughts have grown softer now, if the edges of the room seem farther away, If these images are already beginning to blur and drift into one another, that is perfectly all right. You do not need to hold on. Let the details loosen. Let the facts become landscapes. Let the landscapes become atmosphere. You might imagine yourself walking through a forest at dusk. The ground soft with needles and leaves. Every step above a hidden universe of roots and fungi and patient insects. The air smells of bark and rain, somewhere high above. Birds are settling, somewhere below. A fungus thread carries a quiet message from one root to another, or perhaps you are by the sea at night, where each movement in the water turns blue for a second and then fades. Your hand enters the bay and emerges jeweled with light. Waves hush against the shore, out beyond sight. Whales move through deeper darkness. And far below them, on the seafloor, cold currents pour, like hidden waterfalls. Or perhaps you stand in a desert after rain. The earth, which yesterday seemed bare beyond hope, has opened in color. Tiny flowers tilt towards sunlight. Bees arrive. The whole landscape feels astonished by itself. Beneath it all, seeds are already preparing another future. Or perhaps you would rather be near old mountains, where glaciers move too slowly to see, and bristlecone pines hold centuries in twisted wood. And the sky clears enough at night that stars appear with a steadiness that migratory birds once learned and still remember. Wherever the mind goes, let it go gently. There is no wrong landscape now. The natural world is full of thresholds. Water to land, winter to spring, seed to bloom, silence to birdsong, darkness to bioluminescence, ice to running water, and waking to sleep. This is only another threshold, and like all the others, it does not need to be forced. It can happen slowly, almost invisibly, the way a cloud forms from countless rising threads of moisture, the way a root finds a crack in stone, the way a mountain rises by fractions, the way a dune shifts grain by grain, the way a sleeping bird glides on air, the way a forest exhales and rain returns. So let the mind become spacious. Let it be wide as a salt flat under moonlight, deep as a lake beneath winter ice, soft as moss on stone, dark as a cave river, calm as a whale, descending, patient as a tree. And if one last image wants to remain with you tonight, let it be this: somewhere in the quiet dark of the world, beyond roads and windows and clocks, an ancient tree is standing beneath a sky full of stars. Around its roots, fungal threads glow with silent exchange. In the distance, a river moves through unseen stone. Above the forest, moisture rises into clouds the trees themselves have helped create. A night bird crosses overhead, guided by patterns older than maps. The air is cool. The ground is alive. Nothing is hurried. Nothing is wasted. Everything is part of a longer story still being told in leaf and water and wind. And you, for this moment, are allowed to rest inside that story. No need to carry it. No need to finish it. Only to drift with it. A little farther. And a little farther. Until the glowing bays dim. Until the desert flowers close. Until the glacier, the forest, the cave, the reef, the mountain, the singing sand, the underwater river, the star-guided bird, and the ancient tree all soften together into one quiet, living darkness, and the world, with all its hidden wonders, keeps watch for you while you sleep. And if sleep has not taken you yet, we can wander a little farther, because the earth is never made of only one layer. Every landscape carries another one beneath it, or above it, or hidden inside the ordinary version we first notice. Take a simple shell on a shore. At first glance, it may seem like nothing more than a small curved object left behind by the sea. But many shells follow mathematical spirals so elegant that they can be described with extraordinary precision. The nautilus grows in a logarithmic spiral, adding chamber after chamber, enlarging without changing the essential proportion of its shape. It is a geometry of continuity. The old room sealed. The new room opened. Growth without abandoning design. The same kind of spiral appears elsewhere, in galaxy, in hurricanes, in sunflower heads, in ferns uncurling, in the pathways of storms and the arrangement of seeds. Nature repeats certain forms, not because it lacks imagination, but because some patterns carry strength, efficiency, balance, or beauty that re-emerges wherever matter and energy solve similar problems. You can hold a shell in your hand and trace inward with a fingertip. And in that movement feel, however faintly, the kinship between small things and vast things. That kind of kinship is everywhere. Consider the way continents rise from forces so deep and slow that the surface barely notices from year to year. Beneath our feet, tectonic plates press and slip and fold. Ocean floor is born at ridges and consumed at trenches. Continents collide and buckle upward into mountains. Undersea volcanoes build islands grain by grain of cooled lava until black rock breaks the surface and a new piece of land enters weather. Wind and birdsong. When the Icelandic island of Surtsey emerged from the sea in the 20th century, it became a kind of living laboratory. At first, bare rock, steam, salt, harsh light, no shade, no soil. But the world is skilled at beginnings. Seabirds arrived. Seeds came on wind and feet and current. Mosses and lichens found purchase. Insects appeared. Then grasses. Then shrubs. The empty place did not remain empty. It entered the long conversation of colonization. The quiet sequence through which life learns new land. This too can be soothing to imagine. A place does not need to be fully formed all at once. A bare rock can become a meadow. A cooling island can become habitat. The beginning can be enough. And beginnings happen even in places that look impossibly finished. In wetlands and lakes, mats of root and soil can break free and drift away from shore, carrying grasses and later shrubs and even trees, floating islands. True miniature landscapes moving quietly over water. Their roots tangle downward into wet darkness, while birds nest above and fish shelter below. Some are small as gardens, some large enough to feel like wandering fragments of forest. A forest that wanders, a river inside the ocean, a cave that breathes, a rock that walks. Nature repeatedly offers these gentle contradictions, not to confuse us, but to loosen our certainties, and loosened certainties can be restful. The mind does not have to grip so hard when the world itself is fluid. Perhaps this is why watching animals can calm us. They are always inhabiting the moment of their own design. A water strider skims a pond surface on microscopic hairs, and surface tension, held up by a property of water so familiar and so miraculous, we almost stop seeing it. To the insect, the pond is not a flat barrier, but a stretched skin. Each quick movement draws circles into the surface like tiny signatures. On another branch, perhaps over another pond, a dragonfly rests. It may have hatched from water, lived below the surface as a nymph, then climbed into air and unzipped itself into wings. And some dragonflies will migrate farther than seems reasonable for such fragile bodies. Thousands upon thousands of kilometers. crossing seas over generations. Their lives are both brief and immense, near the same water. A frog may call, not a frozen wood frog now, but a glass frog in a tropical forest. Its underside nearly transparent. Its heartbeat faintly visible beneath a green body resting on a leaf. Nearby, another frog species may be changing itself chemically to survive winter. Elsewhere, a blind cavefish drifts through darkness where eyes became unnecessary long ago. The planet is full of alternate solutions. A bird solves distance with wings and stars. A tree solves drought with stored water. A fungus solves reproduction by entering another body. A coral solves architecture by making stone from softness. A turtle solves winter by slowing nearly beyond measure. A moss solves outer space by enduring more than seems fair. And yet, amid all these strategies, there remains an atmosphere of quiet practicality. Nature is rarely theatrical for its own sake. The corpse flower smells like decay because pollinators follow decay. The skunk cabbage warms itself because spring is cold and scent travels better with heat. The lyrebird imitates because imitation has value in a life shaped by territory and mating. The clownfish changes sex because the group must continue. The bowerbird arranges color because choice and preference can shape reproduction. What looks bizarre from our point of view is often simply precise from nature's point of view, and precision can be deeply beautiful. Think of salmon leaping a waterfall. The scene feels dramatic. And it is. Spray. Force. Silver muscle against current. But beneath that drama is exquisite timing. Muscles firing. Body angle. The reading of flow. The fish are not attempting something symbolic. They are returning to gravel beds where eggs may be laid, to upstream places written into their chemistry, what we experience as heroic. The fish experiences as the next exact thing. Whales, too, move with this kind of enormous precision. A humpback song can travel immense distances underwater, the low notes carrying through the ocean in ways air never could. Males repeat phrases and themes that shift over seasons. The songs can spread through populations like changing traditions. Imagine the sea at night. Black above, black below. And through that darkness, a sequence of notes moving for miles. Perhaps hundreds of miles. A voice without lungs, the way ours know them. Carried by a body that navigates pressure and current as naturally as we navigate hallways. The ocean is full of long-distance conversations. Coral reefs crackle softly with animal life. Kelp forests murmur in surge. Lanternfish flash coded light. Rogue waves rise from interference patterns. Underwater rivers and waterfalls reshape the floor. And far beneath all this, the deepest trenches receive a slow fall of organic matter from above. A snowfall of life, feeding life in darkness. It is humbling that the sea contains both glowing shallows and crushing depths, both playful dolphins and ancient coelacanths, both surface storms and silent trenches. The coelacanth itself feels almost dreamlike, once known only from fossils and thought, gone for tens of millions of years, then found alive in deep waters. Fins moving in a way that recalled ancient lineages, a living fossil, people say, though of course it is not fossilized at all. It is simply a form that has persisted with remarkable continuity. Horseshoe crabs offer a similar feeling. Creatures so old in design that they seem to step through time more than through space. Sometimes evolution changes everything. Sometimes it keeps what already works. That too is a quiet lesson. Not every form of success requires reinvention. And sometimes what survives longest is not the loudest or the fastest, but the one that fits its place well enough to remain. The same might be said of lichens on rock. those subtle unions of fungus and photosynthetic partner, clinging to exposed stone in deserts, mountains, and polar regions. They grow so slowly that a patch the size of a hand may represent decades, yet they endure where more showy life cannot. Dissolving rock, making minute beginnings of soil, turning bare surfaces into future possibility. Even the mosses we step over without notice can hold worlds, small in height, vast in effect, moisture keepers, spore bearers, shade makers for tiny lives, and in experiments, some mosses have returned from the harshness of space. It sounds like a legend told by children, that green softness could leave Earth and come back alive. But nature has little concern for the limits of our intuition. Our intuition often expects warmth, oxygen, moderate pressure, familiar chemistry. Life expects only opportunity, hence microbes in boiling springs, hence communities at hydrothermal vents, hence organisms in subglacial lakes, hence animals hibernating underwater with almost no oxygen, hence seeds waiting in permafrost or ruins, hence dinoflagellates turning black bays electric blue when disturbed. Everywhere. Opportunity, and everywhere. Patience. A plant counting hours of daylight is practicing patience through photoperiodism. It reads the length of night and day to decide when to flower or shed leaves. The chrysanthemum waits for nights of a certain duration. Other species wait for long summer light. It is not thinking in the way we think. Yet it is exquisitely synchronized to time, a silent calendar built into tissue. Some plants also remember stress. After drought, later drought may find them responding more quickly. Stomata closing. Defensive chemistry rising faster than before. Memory without neurons. Experience without story. A body altered by what it has endured. Trees can also warn one another through air. Acacias under attack by herbivores release chemicals that prompt neighboring trees to increase defensive compounds in their leaves. Some signals even attract the enemies of the attacking insects. The air becomes alarm. The forest becomes a community of listeners. Perhaps this is why forests so often feel inhabited, even when no large animal is visible. They are not quiet places in the biological sense. They are only quiet to ears, tuned mainly for louder scales. There are quieter conversations still. Fungi below roots, bacteria around roots, flowers shifting color to tell pollinators where nectar remains, leaves detecting the saliva of caterpillars and changing chemistry in response. A meadow from our perspective may seem decorative. From the perspective of the lives within it, it is dense with messages. And messages travel through time as well as space. A seed is a message sent forward. So is pollen. So is a migratory route encoded in instinct. So is the annual return of sap rising in sugar maples, when nights freeze and days thaw. When people tap maple trees, collecting the clear liquid that will become syrup. They are borrowing briefly from a circulatory rhythm the tree has used for ages. Pressure changes. Sap moves. Buds prepare. Spring approaches not in a single announcement, but in a slow, internal stirring. I think this is one reason spring feels hopeful to so many of us. It is not merely warmer. It is full of systems resuming. Sap rising, frogs thawing, bird routes reappearing, seeds deciding, ice loosening, streams speaking more loudly. Even in the city, the body recognizes some of this. And because we are animals too, not separate from nature, but inside it. These rhythms continue to work upon us whether or not we are paying close attention. Maybe that is why certain landscapes make us sleepy in such specific ways. The ocean's repetition, the dappled shade of a forest, the steady insect hum of summer, the muffling silence after snow, the low wind over dunes. These are ancient sensory patterns. They tell the body something about scale and continuity. They say, the world is operating normally. You can set down vigilance now. A forest bathes us in phytoncids. A coastline entrains breathing to wave rhythm. A long view across a plain lowers the pressure of enclosure. Moonlight on water makes movement visible but gentle. Even thunder at a distance can feel comforting when one is sheltered. Because it places the self inside a larger living atmosphere. And perhaps that is what a sleepy science journey really offers. Not merely facts, but belonging. A reminder that we are nested within processes older and larger than any single worry. Worries are real. Of course, human concerns are not made trivial just because mountains rise slowly and whales sing far away, but perspective can soften their edges. A night thought may feel enormous when held alone. Then you remember that somewhere beneath Antarctic ice, a river still runs unseen. Somewhere in a tropical forest, an ant is being guided by fungal chemistry toward a leaf. Somewhere a butterfly is seeing ultraviolet patterns on a flower. Somewhere, a spider is lifting on silk into salt air. Somewhere, a desert dune is humming in the wind. Somewhere a palm is shifting its roots a little toward light. And the mind, hearing this, may release its own need to grip every thought to completion. Nature is full of unfinishedness. A mountain still growing. A reef still building. A seed still waiting. A migrating bird not yet arrived. A storm that has spun for centuries on another planet. The unfinished does not have to be frightening. It can simply mean the story continues. There are other forms of continuity that feel almost tender. Aspen groves connected by one root system. Many trunks. One organism. A forest that appears plural, above ground, but singular below. New stems rise when old ones fall. Fire passes. Grazing happens. Trunks age and break. And still the shared root remains, sending up more pale trembling leaves. Individual trees are temporary expressions of a deeper persistence. What a gentle image that is. Not isolated life, but shared foundation. Not one body only, but many bodies fed by one hidden source. And hidden sources are everywhere in the earth. Aquifers under deserts, magma beneath mountains, microbes beneath roots, pressure beneath weather, ancient water beneath sand. Sometimes the hidden source reaches the surface in an oasis. A hot spring, a steam-filled river, or a patch of green where none should be. Sometimes it remains concealed, shaping life invisibly. The same is true in the sky. Birds navigate using stars. Most humans no longer know by name. Even captive-raised birds, in experiments, can orient to star patterns when the sky is properly shown to them. How old is that knowledge? Written not in books but in behavior? How many generations of flight have passed under those constellations? The stars were maps long before they were mythology. And the night sky itself is full of quiet scale. Clouds can glow after sunset. Full circular rainbows can appear from above. Storm light can flicker for hours beyond a horizon. Above all of it, Earth is wrapped in a magnetic field. The eye cannot see, but many bodies can feel. We live inside invisible structures all the time. Air pressure, gravity, electromagnetism, chemistry, microbial exchange, and our usual senses give us only the outer skin of the story. There is comfort in admitting that the world exceeds us. Exhausting things often demand that we know, fix, answer, complete. The natural world offers a different model. Observa, participate, rest, return tomorrow. The forest will still be there. The tides will continue. The bristlecone will not mind if you only understand a little. And perhaps that is why old nature stories linger in us, because they combine humility with belonging. You are small. Yes, but you are not outside. The same atoms, the same water cycling through clouds and rivers and blood, the same daylight counted by leaves and skin. The same gravity holding mountains and your body to the planet. The same sleep rising through creatures across land and sea. Some birds sleep on the wing. Some seals sleep in water. Some dolphins rest half their brain at a time. Some insects become still in cold crevices. Some mammals hibernate in dens, where heart beats slow and temperature drops. Across the animal world, rest takes many shapes, but it remains necessary. Even the most tireless migrator must pause somehow. Even the swift drifts into partial sleep. Even the forest enters winter quiet in many climates. Rest is not failure. It is part of the design. If the body needs sleep, it is participating in nature, not resisting productivity. That may sound obvious by day. At night, it is worth hearing again. You are allowed to sleep because everything living cycles through rest in one form or another. Some flowers close, some leaves fold, some animals retreat, some metabolisms dim to embers, and in darkness, other lives awaken. Moths, owls, glowworms, bots, fungi, plankton, nocturnal pollinators, night-blooming flowers, creatures of tide pools and reef edges and deep canopies. The world does not stop when one part of it sleeps. It rearranges its attention. That is another comforting thought. Sleep is not absence. It is a handing over. The day creatures yield to the night creatures. The conscious mind yields to dreams. The surface yields to depth. A bay turns dark enough to glow. A forest cools enough for scent to travel differently. A desert loses heat and begins to move with nocturnal feet. A cave mouth exhales. A whale's song carries farther in quiet water. A meteor crosses overhead unnoticed by most sleeping bodies below. And still, beneath every sleeping field or city, soil organisms continue their invisible labor. Tiny mouths and membranes and enzymes keep turning death back into life. The cycle never demands applause. When morning comes, much has happened in our absence. That may be the finest comfort nature offers. The world can continue without our supervision. Clouds will form, fungi will grow, roots will descend, birds will navigate, sea currents will move, sand will shift, crystals will grow by fractions too small to witness. Stars will wheel, somewhere on Jupiter. The storm will keep turning, and somewhere here, in some wet place or dark place or bright high place, a species new to science may still be waiting to be noticed for the first time. The unknown remains abundant, not because we have failed, but because reality is generous. Generous enough to contain forests under seas and rivers under ice. Generous enough to let a desert bloom after years of silence. Generous enough to make flowers visible in ultraviolet to butterflies while hidden from us. Generous enough to allow a jellyfish to begin again. A salamander to regrow. A fungus to network forests. A bird to sleep in the sky. And a teaspoon of soil to teem like a hidden planet. And all of that generosity can fold softly into sleep, if you let it. No need to keep the categories separate now. Mountain, reef, mushroom, dune, whale, arut, lightning, crystal, by, glacier, seed, shell, cloud. They can simply pass like lanterns in a slow procession. A white desert under moonlight, a warm river steaming through jungle, a cave full of giant crystals, a tree older than empires, a storm larger than earth, a fish climbing a waterfall, a whale singing through black water, a frog thawing in spring, a palm shifting toward light, a floating island carrying birds and small trees, a shell repeating the curve of galaxies, A single spoon of soil alive with billions. And then, softer now, a shoreline at night, the tide lifting and lowering with such patience that it hardly seems like motion, far out at sea. There may be bioluminescence stirred by fish, far below. Cold currents travel along the seafloor in silent rivers, far above. Stars stand, where migrating birds once learned them, behind you. Dunes hold the day's warmth a little longer, ahead of you. The dark water keeps breathing. No one is asking anything from you here. No conclusion, no task, only the slow belonging of being one more creature on a patient planet. If thoughts still arrive, let them arrive like weather over a forest. Then pass. If memory stirs, let it drift like pollen. If sleep comes, let it come the way fog comes to a valley, settling without argument. And if you remain for a little longer in this half-awake place, that is all right too. There are many thresholds in nature. Dawn and dusk, freeze and thaw, bloom and seed, tide in and tide out, migration departure and migration return, shoreline and sea, dream and waking. You do not need to leap from one state to another. You can glide, like a bird using one sleeping half of the brain while the other keeps watch, like a glacier crossing stone, like a glowing wave reaching sand, like a root finding water in darkness, like a cloud gathering one invisible drop at a time. So let the body grow heavier where it rests. Let the breath lengthen just a little. Let the images become more spacious and less exact. Perhaps now the forest is also the ocean. The cave is also the night sky. The shell spiral is also the hurricane and the galaxy. The glowing bay is also the mushroom on the fallen log. The old tree is also the root network beneath it. The desert is also a hidden field of seeds waiting in calm darkness. And somewhere, just beyond the edge of clear thought, the world continues its quiet work, not rushed, not worried, only living, only changing, only carrying forward everything it knows how to carry, until you no longer need even these words. And the last thing you feel is the planet itself, steady beneath you, ancien, inventive, and calm, turning very slowly through the dark. And still, there are more corners of the earth where wonder moves quietly. Some lakes hold colors so unusual, they look invented. Minerals, microorganisms, depth, light angle. All of these can turn water pink or jade or a blue, so clear it seems illuminated from below. At Canada's Spotted Lake, evaporation leaves mineral-rich pools in summer, each one a different shade. In Australia, certain pink lakes seem almost playful in their brightness, as though someone had dissolved sunset into water. Yet these colors are not decoration. They are chemistry made visible. Chemistry in the natural world so often becomes beauty. The same compounds that help one organism survive may produce glow, scent, bitterness, color, heat, buoyancy, or fragrance. A flower's perfume is chemistry. A mushroom's light is chemistry. A corpse flower's smell of decay is chemistry. The ocean's bioluminescent spark is chemistry. The sweetness of maple sap rising through spring wood is chemistry. What we call beauty is often function viewed tenderly. Some beauty is hidden in sound. The earth sings in many ways. There is the low resonance of booming dunes, the whistling edge of wind through stone, the click and hum of reef life underwater, the repetitive pulse of frogs in wetlands, the distant crack and groan of glacier ice, the rhythmic rise and fall of insects in summer fields. Even forests have a kind of layered music. Leaf against leaf, branch against branch. Wings. Calls. The soft thud of something dropping to the floor. None of it is performed for us. And perhaps that is why it so often feels calming. We are not the center of it. We are only allowed to listen. The deeper one listens, the less separate the world becomes. Coral reefs are nurseries. Kelp forests are nurseries. Grasslands are nurseries. Mangroves are nurseries. Caves shelter specialized life. Dead logs shelter fungi. Beetles. Moss. Seedlings. The body of one thing becomes the shelter or future of another. A fallen tree becomes a nurse log. Soil forms from rock and decay. Insects pollinate flowers that feed birds, that spread seeds, that become shade, that cools streams, that shelter fish, that feed bears, that fertilize forests. Nothing is alone for long. Even the most solitary image in nature usually contains a hidden crowd. A single flower may hold ultraviolet signals for insects, scent for night pollinators, nectar deep in its center, pollen on its stamens, fungal partners in its roots, memory of drought in its cells, and seeds not yet formed in its future. A single tree may host birds in its crown, lichens on its bark, fungi at its roots, ants in its crevices, moss at its base, and entire weather patterns in its transpiring leaves. A single tide pool may contain predators, grazers, algae, larvae, shell builders, scavengers, and waves that arrive on schedule, set by a moon far overhead. This richness does not demand effort from us to exist. It is already happening. Sometimes I think the most restful scientific truth is not a single fact, but the realization that complexity can be stable. The world is not simple. It is richly entangled, and yet, through all that entanglement, systems persist, not perfectly, not forever, but often with a resilience that surprises us. A desert appears lifeless until rain reveals seed banks. A burned forest appears, ruined until fire-adapted cones open and shoots rise. A barren volcanic island appears empty until birds and spores arrive. A frozen lake appears still until spring releases frogs and insects and open water. A cave seems vacant until you notice pale fish, specialized beetles, the chemistry of dripping stone. An old field seems ordinary until dawn fills it with migration. Nature hides resilience in quiet forms. Fire itself, which humans so often meet with fear, can be both destroyer and renewal. Giant sequoias survive intense fires with thick bark. Their cones open with heat. Fire clears competing growth, releases nutrients, opens space to light. What appears catastrophic from one perspective may also be cyclical from another. This does not make fire harmless. It only makes it part of a wider story. The same can be said of storms. Lightning frightens, and also fixes nitrogen, floods damage, and also replenish floodplains. Volcanoes devastate, and also build new land, new soils, new ecosystems. Erosion wears mountains away, and also makes valleys, rivers, sediments, fertile plains. Nothing in nature stays singular for long. Every force has many consequences. Every ending feeds some beginning. This is not always comforting in the moment, but at night, when we are not trying to solve the whole world, it can be gentle to remember that change is rarely only loss. The Sahara was once green. Ice once covered lands that are now forest and city. Coral reefs can become stone records. Ancient seas become salt mountains. Old river channels remain hidden beneath deserts. What the world is now is only one moment in its longer life. Even your own body carries that long life within it. The minerals in bone were once in rock and sea. The oxygen in blood has passed through leaves and air, and perhaps glacier melt or ocean spray. The calcium in shell and coral and skeleton moves through time in different forms. The iron in your blood was forged long before Earth existed. In ancient stars that lived and died before this planet formed, science says this plainly. And yet, it sounds almost like lullaby. You are not separate from the wonders. You are made of them. Stardust is an overused phrase, perhaps, but no less true for that. Water is ordinary and miraculous at once. Carbon makes moss and whale and fungus and human nerve. The same periodic table writes reef and root and rain and lung. Perhaps this is why the natural world can comfort us so deeply. When we return to it, we are not going somewhere alien. We are returning to relatives. Stone, water, ea, mineral, light, microbe, seed, different forms of the same long unfolding. And because of that, it can help to imagine sleep not as departure from the world, but as re-entry into one of its oldest patterns. The plants close and open, the tides rise and fall, the moon waxes and wanes, the seasons cycle, the heart contracts and releases, breath enters and leaves. Wakefulness and sleep belong to that same family of rhythms. So perhaps now, let us move more slowly still. Imagine a high mountain lake before dawn. The water is so still, it reflects the first paling sky with almost painful clarity. Around the shore stand trees that have known many winters. Somewhere beneath the lake, cold water moves with deliberate silence. If the lake is one of the clearest on Earth, stones 30 or 40 meters down might appear near enough to touch. The illusion of depth vanishes. Fish seem suspended in air. The whole scene feels less like looking into water and more like looking through a window in the planet. Now imagine the opposite. A lake so saline that the body cannot sink easily, held upward by the water's dense mineral embrace. The surface is calm. Salt crusts the edges. The air is hot and still. Floating there would feel like being reminded that even surrender has its own physics. Some waters carry us more strongly than others. Now shift again to a hidden subglacial river beneath Antarctica, where no sunlight has reached for immense spans of time. Liquid water moves under pressure and ice. Microbes may persist. Sediment settles. Above, the frozen desert extends white and silent. Below, a river continues, indifferent to our assumptions about what should be possible in such cold darkness. Or imagine a boiling river in the Amazon, steam threading upward into green canopy while jungle sounds continue around it. Heat and lushness together. Water, usually associated with relief, becoming danger instead. Yet still it belongs to Earth as naturally as any cool stream. Contrast, perhaps, is one of nature's favorite forms. The hottest and the coldest, the deepest and the tallest, the oldest and the briefest. A tree living 4,000 years, a flower blooming once in decades, a desert waiting years for rain, a rogue wave lasting moments, a mushroom glowing for a night, a zircon surviving billions of years. These scales can help loosen the urgency of ordinary time, not because our hours do not matter, but because they are not the only clock. There are clocks in saprise, clocks in moon-driven tides, clocks in migration routes, clocks in glaciers, clocks in the flowering of bamboo or agave, clocks in soil formation, clocks in continental drift. The Earth keeps many times at once, and in the middle of the night, when one human clock is often too loud, It can be soothing to remember the others. Some are so slow, they are almost like stillness. Stones growing by millimeters, mountains rising by fractions, root systems spreading beneath a forest, crystals enlarging in hidden chambers, a walking palm shifting by centimeters over a year, a bristlecone adding one more ring, an aspen colony sending up one more trunk. Others are quick enough to surprise. A Venus flytrap snapping shut, a fish leaping a waterfall, lightning crossing the sky, a bladderwort trap firing underwater, a flower opening after long darkness, a desert blooming after rain. And both speeds belong equally to life. Slow is not better. Fast is not better. Each is suited to its place. Even sleep has many tempos. The slow settling into it, the quick flicker of dreams, the deep heavy phases, the moments of turning, almost waking, then sinking again. No forest stays in one exact rhythm all night. No ocean wave is identical to the next. Variation is natural. If your own rest comes unevenly sometimes, that too is not outside the living world. Let us wander once more to the sky. Imagine a flock traveling at night. The air is cooler now, smoother. Below, cities may glow. Oceans may darken. Mountains may fade into silhouette. Above, stars hold their positions. The birds read them in ways we can scarcely feel. Their bodies also sense the magnetic field. An invisible geometry guiding route and correction. A cloud passes. Wind shifts. They adjust. The journey is long, but not improvised. It has been made by ancestors before them. And some version of it may be written deep in their developing brains before their first true migration begins. There is something deeply comforting in inherited direction, in not having to invent the whole path from nothing. The natural world is full of inherited direction. Roots grow downward and toward moisture. Shoots rise. Sea turtles hatch and move toward the brighter horizon. Salmon return. Whales follow feeding routes. Plants open and close by internal clocks. Flowers guide pollinators with color and scent. Not all instinct is simple. Not all learned behavior is conscious in the way we mean it. But throughout nature, life carries maps. If you feel lost sometimes, perhaps that is another reason these stories soothe. They remind us that guidance can exist quietly. Inside body, season, chemistry, light, and in darkness, guidance does not disappear. It simply changes form. Owls hear with extraordinary precision. Cats amplify faint light. Deep sea fish make their own. Cave species trade sight for touch and vibration. Bioluminescent organisms write blue and green messages into black water. At night, the world does not become less navigable to its inhabitants. It becomes navigable differently. Maybe sleep is like that too. Not a failure of awareness, but a change in the mode of traveling. By day, the mind uses one kind of light. By night, another. Dream logic is not daylight logic, but it still moves. And so, as this journey slows, perhaps the facts no longer need to remain separate from feeling. A forest sharing nutrients through fungi may feel like kinship. A tree surviving fire may feel like resilience. A seed waiting centuries may feel like trust. A whale song crossing dark water may feel like loneliness transformed into communication. A jellyfish beginning again may feel like mercy. A glowing bay may feel like memory. A full circular rainbow seen from above may feel like the completion of something we usually only glimpse in part. Nature does not offer moral lessons in any neat way, but it does offer metaphors constantly, whether we ask for them or not. And at bedtime, metaphors can become blankets, so let yourself be held by a few of them now. You are not a machine failing to remain productive. You are an animal among animals. Part of a planet that has always required rhythms of rest. You are not outside the great network. You are another expression of mineral. Water. Carbon. Memory. Chemistry. And time. You do not need to solve every hidden process before dawn. The soil does its work without being watched. The ocean makes light without applause. The mountain rises without witness. The bird finds the stars again. The flower opens only when the night is long enough. The fungus threads through darkness. The desert keeps its seeds. The cave keeps its crystals. The glacier keeps moving. The ancient tree keeps adding one more season when it can. And you, tonight, may simply rest. Perhaps by now, the world inside your mind is already blending its landscapes. A bright gypsum desert under a cobalt night. A warm tropical forest exhaling moisture into silver clouds. An underwater canyon where a dense current falls like a hidden waterfall. A moonlit salt lake holding you effortlessly at the surface. A meadow of flowers opening where yesterday there was only sand. A cave lit by crystal faces. A reef city built by tiny animals. A shore where each step in the shallows sparks blue. A winter pond under snow where a frog waits for spring. A canopy where a bird sleeps while still in flight. A field where mushrooms glow faintly among fallen leaves. A deep trench where pressure crushes metal but not life. A white mountain ridge still rising. Slowly, into stars. The details can blur now. That is all right. Let the exact species names go if they want to go. Let the measurements fade. Keep only the texture, the sense that the world is larger than anxiety, older than hurry, more inventive than fear, more patient than any clock beside a bed, and perhaps keep one more sensation. The feeling of the ground beneath all things. Soil under forest, rock under soil, magma under rock, water under ice, roots under trunks, current under surface, hidden supports, hidden movements, hidden life. So much is held by what we do not see, which means, perhaps, that not seeing the whole path ahead is not the same as having no path. The seed does not see the flower while dormant. The root does not see the stream before finding it. The cave river does not see the sea while underground. The glacier does not see the valley it will carve. And yet, each continues according to a logic deeper than immediate sight. If there is a final science of sleep here, maybe it is simply this: life trusts cycles. Night comes, bodies soften, awareness changes, morning returns, not always easily, not always perfectly, but often enough that the planet has built countless lives around the pattern. So let yourself become one more life entering that pattern. No need to force descent. Just allow the breath, allow the weight, allow the dimming, allow the mind to become like a calm lake, reflecting only what remains in the sky. Maybe the last image now is a very simple one. A patch of moss on a forest stone at night. So small, so ordinary, so soft, it nearly escapes notice. And yet inside it are cells built to endure drought. Cold. Even conditions beyond Earth. Dew is gathering on it. The air is cool, somewhere nearby. The roots of trees are trading minerals with fungi, somewhere farther off. An owl moves between trunks. Above, clouds are forming from moisture, the forest itself released. Beyond that, stars remain, below everything. The soil is alive with billions. Nothing here is trying to impress you. It is simply being what it is. Durable, connected, quiet. Enough. Let that be enough for tonight too. The ancient tree. The glowing bay. The singing sand. The walking palm. The frog in ice. The whales in the dark sea. The cave of crystals. The desert bloom. The underwater river. The birds following stars. All of them can recede now into a single soft sense of Earth's hidden abundance. And as they recede, let sleep come closer, a little closer, slower than a glacier and softer than moss, deeper than a cave river and lighter than noctilucent cloud, until there is only the dark and the turning planet, and the gentle fact that you are allowed to rest within it, while the hidden wonders of nature continue patiently all around you. And perhaps, just for a few moments more, we can stay with the smallest scales, because sometimes the gentlest wonders are the least dramatic ones. A grain of sand on a beach may have traveled through mountains, rivers, glaciers, cliffs, and waves before reaching your hand. Quartz weathered from old rock, shell fragments from ancient marine lives, minerals ground and reground by time. Each grain is a history reduced to touch. A beach, then, is not only a place, it is an archive in motion. A drop of rain is also an archive. It may have risen from ocean, lake, leaf, soil, or snowfield. It may have passed through cloud after cloud before falling on a roof, a fan, a road, a desert seed, or the open mouth of a stream. Water is forever arriving and returning, changing form, but never leaving the great cycle. The rain that touches skin tonight may once have moved through glacier ice, or jungle vapor, or deep groundwater, or the breath of animals long gone. Cycles like these make the world feel held together, not static, not fixed, but held. Soil becomes root, root becomes leaf, leaf becomes litter, litter becomes soil again, cloud becomes rain, rain becomes river, river becomes sea, sea becomes cloud again, and inside those cycles, lives appear, flare briefly or slowly, then return their materials to the pattern. This is not a sad thought at night. It is a peaceful one, because it means the world knows how to continue. A fern uncurls, because ferns have always uncurling in that way. A spider spins silk, because silk has always been one of nature's answers. A mushroom fruits after rain, because hidden threads below the ground have been preparing. A flower opens at dusk, because a pollinator will be there in darkness. A moth finds it. A bat finds the moth. An owl finds movement in a field. Seeds form. Fruit sweetens. The season turns. Snow falls. Roots wait. Spring returns. The continuity is so vast that one sleeping human is not a disruption to it. You can let go. The world will continue making itself while you rest. A root will still find its way around stone. A reef fish will still slip into coral shelter. A current will still curl around a headland. A dune will still lose and gain grains in the wind. A night-blooming flower may still release fragrance into warm air. A hidden fungus will still move nutrients beneath the forest floor. And somewhere, perhaps just now, a bird will alter course by a star that no city child has ever clearly seen. That unseen guidance, that quiet persistence, that endless exchange between the hidden and the visible. Perhaps that is the softest wonder of all. Not any single glowing bay, or ancient tree, or crystal cave, but the way the whole earth keeps communicating with itself, through water, through air, through root, through salt, through pressure, through migration, through chemistry, through time, and as you drift closer now to sleep. You do not need to answer that communication. It is enough to be gently surrounded by it, enough to know you are here. On this patient planet, held by gravity, breathing, borrowed air among countless other living things, while somewhere the forests breathe, the deserts wait, the oceans glow, the stones remember. And the stars continue over everything in their calm, unhurried silence. Good night. And because the night is generous, let one final set of images pass by very softly. Imagine the ocean from far above. A dark, curved body breathing under moonlight, near one coast. Kelp forests sway, like submerged cathedrals, near another. Coral reefs glow faintly beneath clear shallows. In one warm bay, microscopic life waits to turn each motion into blue fire. In one deep trench, pressure gathers over ancient mud where fragile creatures endure. Between them, whales move through sound, turtles through magnetic memory, fish through currents older than maps. Now imagine the land. Deserts pale and wide, some full of hidden water, some ready with seeds that may not wake for years, forests dense enough to make clouds, mountains still climbing by the width of a fingernail, glaciers moving with the patience of centuries, caves storing crystals in heat and darkness, lakes changing color with chemistry and season, rivers disappearing underground and returning in the light. Now imagine the sky. Lightning wandering through storm towers, noctilucent clouds burning silver above twilight, migrating birds reading stars, the planet's invisible magnetic field wrapping all of it. And beyond, the larger silence where other worlds turn. And on one of them, a storm larger than Earth has been spinning for generations. All of this is happening on the same planet where moss grows between stones, where ants farm fungi, where a single teaspoon of soil can hold more life than there are human beings on Earth. Grandeur and minuteness together, always together. Perhaps that is what makes nature such a deep place to rest the mind. It contains the colossal and the delicate without conflict. A mushroom can glow in one forest, while a mountain range rises on another horizon. A tree can exchange sugars underground, while lightning splits a cloud overhead. A seed can wait 1,000 years, while a mayfly lives for hours. Nothing in the world insists that only one scale matters. So your own life does not need to fit one scale tonight either. You do not need to solve the vast things. You do not need to perfect the small things. You can simply belong. Belong to breath. Belong to darkness. Belong to the turning earth. And as sleep comes closer, let every wonder become quieter. Let the whale song drop deeper into the sea. Let the forest dim into scent and shadow. Let the desert cool. Let the glowing bay fade to black water. Let the ancient tree become a silhouette. Let the crystals lose their edges. Let the stars blur. Let the names disappear first. Then the facts. Then the images. Until what remains is only a calm and spacious feeling. As if the whole natural world had become one large gentle room. And you are safe inside it. Nothing more is required. Only rest. Only the soft continuation of night. Only the planet. Patient beneath you. Carrying forests. Storms. Rivers. Roots. Vings. Salt. Iche. Stone. And sleep. All together. Into the dark, somewhere now. While you listen or drift, dew may be gathering on grass, a fox may be moving through a hedgerow, tiny fungi may be opening in the dark after rain, a moth may be crossing a garden by scent alone, beneath a field. Earthworms may be turning soil grain by grain. In a marsh, reeds may be bending with water that remembers mountains. On a distant shore, waves may be folding shells against sand with patient repetition. In the high air, a bird may still be traveling between constellations. On a cliff, lichen may be brightening after mist. In a stream, stones may be polishing one another by the smallest collisions, and under all of it, the planet remains steady, carrying every root and river and sleeping creature together. You do not need to follow any of them farther. You can simply let the knowing be enough. The world is alive in more ways than one mind can hold. And that is a comfort, not a burden. So let your thoughts loosen like leaves on dark water. And let the night take care of the rest. Sleep can come the same way. Snowfall comes to a quiet forest. Gradually, softly, without asking permission, until branches, stones, and paths are all covered in one calm layer of silence. And even the hidden streams seem to hush beneath it for a while, before dawn.